the best way I can describe the last year, and this is the part where my sister is going to be thinking to her head, thinking to herself, oh my god, my brother is such a freaking nerd. I can best describe the last year as being similar to a situation in Highlander the series. During one of the seasons, I want to say it's season 4, the 5,000-year-old immortal Mythos falls in love with a mortal woman. And after he falls in love with her, he finds out that she's terminally ill. So he decides to spend the rest of her life with her, taking her around the world, showing her the entire world, all the wonders that it possesses, and just giving her the time of her life before she passed on. And even though we didn't know that this was going to happen, this came completely out of left field. In retrospect, this last year is that moment for me. Because I'm not 5,000 years old, and I'm not immortal, but I still have so much life left ahead of me. And as it turns out, she only had the 1 year together with me. But during the 1 year, I gave her all the love that I had, and we shared so much together. We went so many different places together. I shared her with my family. I was proud of her. I was so deeply in love with her. She was my wife in every sense but the legal sense. The only thing that prevented her from actually being called my wife outright was the fact that we didn't have the little slip of paper. Now let me tell you something. Without the love and the kind of a deep connection like what Libby and I had together, that piece of paper don't mean jack. Let me give you an example of the kind of bond that Libby and I had. One night, we were in bed, and I woke myself and her up doing this maniacal laughter for some weird reason. We have no idea why. I can't even remember what I was dreaming to make me laugh so diabolically. And she didn't bat an eye at it. In fact, we laughed about it together, and we went back to sleep. And, she actually loved my little diabolical laugh that I have sometimes. That little, devious chuckle that I get sometimes. She loved that. And, did I get on her nerves on occasion? Yes, especially when the pregnancy hormones started to kick in. Yes, I did get on her nerves. And she's seen me at my best, my worst, my most enthusiastic, and my most depressed. And she stayed with me throughout it all. She loved me. She supported me. Whenever I needed a hug, she would give me a hug. Whenever I needed someone to talk to, she was there. She listened. And I gave the same to her, because that's love in its truest, deepest level to me. Yeah. Sorry. I'm not about to cry again, but I'm at a loss for words over this whole deal, because there's a reason why I picked In Loving Memory to sing for her. It's because that song's is so her. Everyone that touched her was everyone that she touched in life, rather, has felt such a deep sense of loss, because she had the biggest heart of anyone I've ever seen since my grandmother. Would she gripe you out if she needed to? Yes, she would. But she did it because she cared. And, I may have been the closest to her over this last year, but I'm by no means... Excuse me. I'm by no means the only person that her life had touched, and I'm doing this as much for all of you who loved Libby Jaggers, to let you know the Libby that I knew, the Libby that spent the last year of her life dedicating herself to forming and growing the relationship with me. The one who, up until recently, was even going to start a family with me. To all of us, she was friend, therapist, support, daughter, aunt, and to me, she was my soulmate. And it wasn't just 2 lives that were extinguished that day. I have to admit, a part of my soul went with her. Living without her is going to be the hardest thing I've ever had to do. But it's something I must do. And I will do it. Because, I promised her, I told her that if something happened to her, that after the appropriate time of grieving, that I would continue my life without her, or at least give it a good honest try. So she's gone, but she's not forgotten. And she never will be. Not by you, not by me. Rest well, my dear. Kentucky by Libby Jaggers. Scent of fresh mown hay wafts to my nose, deeply inhaled in a hayless room enclosed. My heart assailed by memories of home. Dappled shadows dance in my mind's eye, in the cool deep hollers and hills that give rise to the tinkling cool creeks and splashes so high. The colors of green with such varied hues, the silver, the yellow, the gold, and the blues, looking so beautiful, shimmering in dew. The cool, soft breeze caressing my skin, drawing forth feelings of joy from within, quietening the unsettledness of the day's din. The land so varied, from mountains to swamp, the knobs and bluegrass where spindly foals romp, it's the run for the roses, and all that pomp. Pennyroyal, western coalfields, those are the places. Mammoth Cave, Hutchins Ferry, surrounded by faces of family and friends at the picnic ground spaces. By day on Nolan, catching bass and bluegill. July nights late, catfish fighting rod and reel. Fried with hush puppies, oh, what a meal. The hunt of the deal and coons chased so far. The land where Dan Boone killed a wild bar. In my youth, marshmallows charred over bonfire. Kentucky, she calls me, just barely a whisper. Although my new life makes me happy and chipper, she once was my home. How can I not miss her?